However, our sales will continue to grow in US market, and we don't see any slowdown in sales.
So much for taking out time for us, Ajay. Always good to get perspective from you. Mr. Uday Kotak is addressing in a press conference. If we can go across to that, let's cut to it. He's talking about liquidity and the impact on growth.
Very large amounts of monies have moved into small savings, which is financing the government's fiscal deficit. In most of these schemes, the rates of interest are higher than 8%. Now, if you look at bank deposits, therefore banks are competing for financial savings. Therefore, the ability of banks to drop their deposit rates is linked to the interest rates offered by the sovereign and other parts of the economy. And therefore, if we can move towards a more balanced and a linear basis of financial savings across the economy, that would make the price of money more attractive for users, which effectively can be a boost to demand. Therefore, in addition to lowering of interest rates, we need some sort of a structural look at the interest rates by different instruments and segments which are creating these distortions in the system.
Just to add to that, I think the other thing which is working in India's favor is oil prices are modest. It's been soft a bit, and the exchange rate is also fairly stable. I think this also helps. We saw the liquidity crisis over the last few months. We also saw some of the expenditure not flowing through into the economy. I think if the government starts working on the infrastructure that they promised, a lot more money will flow into the construction industry, which leads to ripple down effect to many other sectors of the economy. The second part is, as you work on rural areas, I think we see the rural demand coming back as well. So we expect the second half of the year to be much better than the first half.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, Mr. Kirloskar, it has been estimated that we need to grow at the rate of 10% every year for the next 20 years to eliminate poverty completely in our country. You've been very optimistic and you're saying that 7.4% growth you're expecting this year. But you need to attract $1 trillion every year as FDI for the next 5 years. To be able to do this, what are the 6 top things the Modi government should do in the next 5 years? Thanks.
I talked about the investment. It's basically investment in India, not necessarily FDI. It could be domestic investment as well.
Well, there you have it, some big voices from India Inc. speaking on the sidelines of the CII conference at this point of time, which is being held live. Let's move right on and talk about the global concerns and the China-US trade spat being the biggest one. A recession could begin in as soon as 9 months if President Trump pushes to impose 25% tariff on Chinese imports, according to Morgan Stanley. Now, Morgan Stanley says investors are still, quite underestimating of the full risk to the global economy from a trade war, even after the US stocks capped the worst month in the year. So, MS has warned about the impact with respect to US-China trade war on the global economy. They see recession within a year if the trade war has no resolution anytime soon and it continues to be a big overhang. China retaliates with its own countermeasures. Investors underestimate the threat of increased tariffs at this point of time, which could be transformed into something very, very big if it is not taken care of soon.